on the ABC Listen app, your smart speaker, and on 774am.
Breakfast with Chanel Vella and Bob Murphy.
You may remember about a month ago, Victoria Police Chief Commissioner Mike Bush, he announced his plan to get more cops back out on the beat. Here's part of his plan to shuffle those resources.
Having public counters and taking reports of crime is really important, particularly to victims. But it doesn't necessarily need to be done by a sworn uniformed police officer. There are plenty of people in our organisation who are incapable of doing that role. So we have choices. We just need to make those choices.
So that was all about redeploying staff, making the force more efficient. But is there another way that police could cut down time at their desks?
Craig Doran, former Queensland police officer and founder of Comtrac, an AI tool designed to help with investigations, has been good enough to join us. Good morning to you, Craig.
Yes, good morning.
So it seems like the AI stories are far and wide for a lot of industries, but in terms of police investigations, how is it designed to best help?
Yeah, so I think there's always been a bit of a mad rush to get AI out for everyone at the in all sorts of industries at the moment. But when we started working with the Queensland Police, one of the things we had to do was put guardrails around the AI. And by putting guardrails around, we gave it really specific instructions on what we actually wanted for it to actually do. Because one thing about AI will always know what you're asking it, but it doesn't really know what you mean. And so we built all the instructions and the rules around it and the guardrails around it. And probably the best example, probably one of the most well-known examples in Queensland, was that we worked with Queensland Police to help police create the domestic violence application forms. Because what they approached us and they said police were coming back from domestic violence incidents. They've been in the field for about an hour recording on their body-worn camera videos. They come back to the station. They spent 3 or 4 hours actually building that application, typing it out. So we came in, we built our instructions around the AI, gave very specific details, and it would build those applications in about 30 seconds instead of 3 or 4 hours. And then they spent 15 to 20 minutes reviewing it, and then they were done. And from my point of view, again, I had 20 years in the police, and the biggest driver of everything we're doing is getting police back on the front line. And there always seems to be a push, okay, we need to recruit more police, but if you can increase the efficiency of just the paperwork that we actually do by about 40%. If you think, let's say you've got about 10,000 sworn frontline policers, you can increase their efficiency by 40%. That's the equivalent of putting another 4,000 police back on the road. And it's a massive reduction of their stress and the strain and the paperwork and all that stuff, which is unfortunately driving a lot of our police out of the job at the moment.
Craig, one of the things I noticed when I was working in courts was just how long it took to put a brief of evidence together. So the magistrate would always ask, and how long do you need? And it was always 8 weeks, 9 weeks. There's a lot of CCTV. We still need to speak to people. It would take up so much time and it pushes court cases out.
Yeah, so if you're getting a brief done in 8 or 9 weeks, then you're doing exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I can tell you from my experience. But and look, you're absolutely right. So where we were focused on, again with the AI, it's not just around forms like application, but it's building those briefs of evidence as well. And what we do is, as police are gathering statements, photographs, financial records, video, whatever the case may be, we're using the AI to analyse that evidence, maps the evidence to the elements, the offences, and it's building that brief automatically as they go along. So when it's time to make the arrest or even go to court, the brief evidence is actually prepared and it's ready to go.
Can you trust it?
Yeah, absolutely. So well, that's a good point. So if you think about about 3 days ago, or 4 days ago, I'm now not sure. So we actually just won the Telstra National Business Awards for Innovation ITC. And what's really interesting to me is like we actually won the Innovation Award for actually stifling innovation, because we took AI and again we put these guardrails around it. We said you need to behave the way we want you to behave. We can't just unleash it because it will come up with all sorts of information, hallucinations, all that sort of stuff. So our package basically was specifically designed to give it very clear instructions, very clear guidelines on how it works. So it understood the legislation, it knew what we had to do, and we kind of slowed it down. And by slowing it down, it ensured that the quality, which is what I guess what your question was talking about, was always extremely high. It was like having that expert investigator tell the AI how it should behave and then review the information at the end. So to really refine that quality down took us a good 6 months to really understand how to build those guardrails instructions. But then, but like I said, when we ran the pilot with Queensland Police last year, that they were saying the accuracy and the quality ranged anywhere between 92 to 94% every time.
Wow.
You're listening to Breakfast on ABC 774 with Charnel and Bob. We are chatting with the founder of Comtrac, an AI tool designed to help with police by former Queensland Police Officer Craig Doran. Craig, I imagine this technology that seems like a really good fit for policing other industries. I imagine you'd be a founder in demand. What other industries do you think it could best work with?
Well, we are working with, I think we've got about 39 Commonwealth and state government agencies at the moment. So they're using it for like investigation into environmental matters, health, transport, pollution, integrity. We've got banks that are using it for doing fraud investigations, even professional standards. So it's got a quite wide-ranging application. The pain point that police have around investigations is paperwork. And they're spending more time at their desk than actually doing what they probably want to do, is go out and do police work and serve the community. But there are agencies across all aspects of life that have exactly the same problems. Some of their investigations, like an investigation into a mining company, like for pollution discharge, is just as complex as a potentially a fraud investigation that the police might undertake as well.
You speak about guardrails. How do you make sure, because I imagine some of that footage that's picked up in the aftermath of a domestic violence incident is quite sensitive, and victims would never want that to end up anywhere on the internet. So if you're uploading it to AI, what are the security measures around it to make sure it doesn't end up in the wrong place?
Yeah, so I guess probably the very first thing is every agency's version of the AI in their platform sits in their own unique environment. It's not going up to the worldwide web internet. It's on a particular platform in a secure IRAP protected environment, so it all stays there. And look, the way we protect the information that goes out, again, is in that area that we said we had the guardrails around. We give it very clear instructions of what it can include and what it can't include. So if we don't want the like the aggrieved party's phone number, we don't want their address, all that stuff is built into the form, so that when it creates that application, the sensitive information is never released because it's told not to put that in those particular outcomes.
So you're in Melbourne for a policing conference. Have you managed to snag the Chief Commissioner to have a chat yet?
No, I haven't actually managed to snag your Chief Commissioner yet. So I've got a meeting with the Queensland Police Commissioner coming up, I think, next week as well. We've had meetings with police ministers, all sorts of people at the moment, having a deep dive in the space they're in, because we're all facing that same sort of challenge, especially around policing numbers.
The Victorian ones, or still not Victorian?
No, it's all in Queensland at this stage. But in saying that, we did have a meeting with a number of assistant commissioners from Victoria about 3 months ago. We went through the platform we're doing, the work we did with Queensland Police, and there was a lot of enthusiasm for it as well. But look, the government and sort of software programs and ITC, that runway to delivering those changes, it can be quite a long runway, because they have a lot of checks and balances to go through.
We're happy to be the middle ground here. Mike Bush, 1300 222 774. We could get this happening.
Well, there's a lot of MPs that listen, so if you're interested, Craig Doran is after you. Can we say that?
Absolutely.
Great. Craig Doran, former Queensland police officer and founder of Comtrac. It's an AI tool designed to help with investigations. Thank you for joining our show.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Let's get the latest news from the newsroom now with Natasha McFarlane. Thanks, Natasha.